everyone, and welcome to our new mini-series called
I'm drinking with the stars, yeah.
Shout out to Derrick Truby for that beautiful theme song. We had a lovely talk with Justin Smith that we're about to show you. We're still looking for more people, so please make sure you get in there with your sign. We have a few people that have snagged a couple signs already, so snag yours while it's still hot.
This was our amazing chat with an Aries over a drink. And so today we thought it would be fun if we started every episode by introducing a specialty cocktail dedicated to that sign. So here to bring us our amazing cocktail is our bartender, Evan!
How are you guys?
So what are you making for us today, Evan?
Today I'm making my signature cocktail. It's called a habaneros grapefruit margarita!
Yeah!
Step one is tequila. So we're gonna do 1 shot of tequila.
Ooh!
Next, we have a half shot of triple sec, a half shot of lime juice, and then we're gonna do a half shot of grapefruit juice. And then we're gonna finish with some habanero simple syrup. Homemade, you can make it super easy.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna prepare our glass, some lime, and now we're putting tahini.
Oh my god.
Garnish with a little lime wedge, and serve.
Yeah!
It's pretty spicy, just like an Aries.
Oh my god. Okay, welcome Justin Smith. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Thank you for being our little guinea pig for drinking with the stars. Let's start with a cheers.
Nice little cheer.
Yes!
So Justin is here to just talk about spirituality and astrology. I'm gonna give him like a fake little, it's not a reading. I'm not gonna brand it as a reading. It's just a chart chat that I prepared for. Not a chart reading, because I'm not an astrologer. So I guess I just wanted to start out by seeing if you wanted to give us just like a little bit of your spiritual upbringing. Like, were you raised in a particular religion?
I grew up pretty much in the Catholic faith, and then I did genuinely love it when I was younger. But as I started to grow up, I just started to realize it was too restricting for like who I like naturally was as a person, and it like just made me like hinder myself from like a lot of the life experiences that I wanted to have. You go to church and like people are very like judgmental sometimes, or like very like uppity and like, for lack of a better term, like Bible thumping. I didn't like me being forced to go to church. It started to become a thing that I had to do versus like something that I wanted to do. And then I also came to find out, like, at least like with institutional religion, like this is like a group of people telling me what my relationship with God should be versus my own relationship with God. And I think that's kind of how I fell into spirituality. I was able to figure out what my own relationship with God is.
I think the thing that people really don't talk about enough is like the layered and like generational Catholic guilt that is so hard to rid yourself of. Even after you take that step away and say, hey, I like want to find my own spirituality, it like takes so much more work than just that decision, because there is so much ingrained in you that is going to stay ingrained in you and your children and your children's children, even if you don't like teach that Catholicism. It's just something that like sticks in for generations, and like you have to work to get rid of.
Because it becomes like so a part of you, and it's like what you know, and it's like what you're comfortable with, even if you don't fully agree with it. Like you said, like it's just something that's so ingrained in you that it just like it's hard to shake as quickly as you would want it to be gone.
And it's also such like a family thing. Like for me, like it wasn't even like my immediate family was super religious. Like we were, and like we went to church, but like it was really like the extended family, and it almost feels like you need to slowly like come out of the closet as like not Catholic. Like I feel like I haven't fully come out to everybody in my family, you know?
Yeah. I got to this point like after college where I was okay with allowing myself to make mistakes, because I felt like, I mean, even us being in musical theater, like it was not very like okay to really make mistakes. Like, I mean, being called out in choir,
Yeah.
I had anxiety. I was like, I became very okay with making mistakes and like knowing that that's just a part of the process and that's a part of the journey.
Was there like a moment for you where you were like, I have to switch the way I sort of think about this? Or was it like more like a gradual thing?
There were little things that would happen, and then they just kind of built up over time. And then I got like more into wanting to be authentic to myself. And then I was just like, okay, I don't quite relate to this as I did before, and that's okay. I don't necessarily have people who understand me yet, but I will have people in the future that I'll meet along life's path that will. Because by me being authentically myself, I'm going to attract those people who are going to be a part of my tribe, and I don't even have to try hard for it.
Yes.
You are inspiring me right now. I'm like, yeah, I need to do that. That's amazing. And you've moved to New York, so it sounds like you're like trusting your gut and being your authentic self.
And it was a long process to do that. Like when we were all like graduating college, like my plan was to like move to LA because I wanted to do more film and TV. And so that's what initially like my gut was telling me. I visited LA before, and like when I got there, I didn't feel anxious. I didn't feel like I had social anxiety or anything like that. In college, like I like had real bad social anxiety. Did not love talking to people. I always felt awkward. Struggled from like depression and stuff. And I think like all of that kind of manifested with people that I didn't really like know that well. When I went to LA, like all of that kind of melted away. I like put myself out there to like where I like naturally like had, you know, people to hang out with, and I had friends, and I had like fun experiences there. Throwing back tequila shots, like it was nothing. Like it was great.
That's amazing.
Thought about moving to LA, and then like I signed up with like this woman called Jen Rudolph, and like she's all about like changing like your mindset, like the mindset of the 2%. Her theory is like there's 2% of actors who are working, and there's 98% who aren't. So I took like a workshop with one of the people that she works with. She was like a mindset coach, spiritual coach, as well as like an acting coach. So I emailed for that class, and that class to take it for, I think 6 weeks was about like $2,000. I saw that price tag and I was like, ooh. Something that stuck with me was like making decisions based off of your vision versus your circumstances. That clicked for me because I was like, okay, like, yes, this is gonna hurt to like drop out a lot of that money, but like I know I need what she's offering. I decided to do it, and I don't look back. Like I would recommend that program to anybody. But yeah, just like that kind of like sparked my spiritual awakening, just that shift in my mindset. And this like mantra was just like, the universe is never working against you, but always in your favor. When you ever come up with obstacles that are kind of making things a lot harder for you, I've realized that it's like either giving me the strength to be able to handle something that I'm supposed to face later down in the future, or it's guiding me into the path that's more aligned with what I want.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you really have shifted your mindset. That's so awesome. I love that. And you talked about like when you messaged us, and you mentioned it like a couple minutes ago, looking for signs and seeing signs in places. Can you talk a little bit about that? It reminded me of Alex and I were just watching, you should watch it.
Oh,
I'm talking to
yes.
everyone.
Surviving Death.
And there was a whole episode on like signs from spirits and like interpreting that.
I just remember like, and I think a lot of it came like through meditation, saying what I wanted to attract and everything like that. And I would say things to myself like, I have moved to New York or LA, and I'm in this new environment where it's like so like, I feel so free. I feel like I can be myself. I've found like this new group of people that, you know, feel like a home and a family to me. And I feel like at peace with myself. I don't feel like I have to shield anything. I don't feel like I am being judged. I can just be messy, and that's okay. And not messy in a toxic way, but just messy in a way like just like for my own personal growth.
In a human way.
Yeah.
Like we all need to go through that in order
Yes.
to be the people that we want to be. I was like thinking about like taking a leap of faith. So I started looking up videos about leaps of faith, and I came across the Steve Harvey video. He was basically like, you're always going to feel like you wish you had more money, or you wish you had more time, or you wish you knew more things. That hit really hard because when I thought about moving, I didn't know whether I should look for a job first or look for an apartment first. I still wasn't 100% sure about what I was gonna do until like I was hanging out with like someone that I used to talk to. And then, you know how like when you talk to people and like they send you like good morning, good night texts? I just wasn't feeling it from this person. And like, I just like more so when I got it, I was annoyed.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't wait to talk about your chart. I was like, that's me. Oh wait, we have the same Venus.
I don't know. I just like, there's some people that can do that to you and you're like, oh my God, it's so nice. Oh, They care about me. Doesn't go anywhere. Exciting. It's like, how are you? I'm good. What are you doing today? Nothing. Okay. And then it's like, good night. Talk to you tomorrow.
Can I please just let this smoothly transition into your Gemini Venus? Because
go ahead.
Your Venus is in Gemini. Your Venus is about all of your personal relationships, not just romantic, but like when it comes to intimate relationships, platonic or not, like you need intellectual stimulation. Like small talk isn't gonna work for you.
I can't tell you the amount of people that I've met just like platonically and like romantically, just where I'm just like, can we skip the small talk? And like, because I don't really care about like your favorite color. Or, I mean, I do, but I don't. Like, it's not deep. I just want to know like what you want to be in your life, like, and why you want to be that. And like, you know, like your life's journey, like what did you struggle with as a kid? Like, I hate when people are like, so that person that I was talking to was like, I saw them like Snapchatting someone else, like while we were platonic at this point. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like they didn't Snapchat like when they were with me or whatever. I felt like this weird jealousy, but I knew that I didn't want to be with that person just because like, I didn't want to have to explain all of my interests. And then we were also like leading up to 2 different points in our lives, so I knew it wasn't going to work out more than platonically. And so I was leaving and I was like, wow, I don't necessarily miss that person, but I do miss someone checking in with you and caring enough to send like a good morning, good night text. I came across like this YouTube channel called Shanetta's Divine Tarot. Look her up. She's amazing. I love her. So she was just doing these general tarot card readings, and it's like 5 cards that she stacks in front of you. And she's like, just like take a moment to like really engage with your intuition and like breathe deeply, take 3 slow, deep breaths and really focus on which card is calling out to you. Call out to the universe saying, universe, what is it that I need to know? What is the message that I need to know right now? So I picked this card and she was like, okay, this card, I feel like you're in a position where you feel stuck and you need to take a leap of faith. And for whatever reason, you're not taking it. And as she keeps like unfolding, I'm just like shook and I'm like
she's
laughing.
Talking to you. Like,
oh my God.
Oh my God.
No, she literally tapped into your consciousness. Like literally this is for Justin.
Like,
you manifested that.
She was like, you just need to take that leap of faith and you just need to jump. And I was like, okay. And then she's like, you're worried about money and you're worried about how you're going to work out things financially. Your future self wants you to know that you're going to be okay. You're going to be living in abundance. You're going to have more than what you need. And then she's like, you're also worried about love and, you know, if you're going to find someone, your future self wants you to know you're also going to have an abundance of love. You're going to find someone who's going to be a connection that you have never had before. She's also telling me about like this card. This is my artist. These are my artists, my creators. She said that and she was like, there are people out there who are in need of your talents, but they just don't know you exist yet. And then she said like, your future self also is like really into numerology. And like numbers play like a big game for you. And she was like, there's something not resonating like with your house and you, like your house number or like the people in your house or the vibe of the house. And when she said that, I was like, oh my God, like how many times have I sat outside of my house saying, I feel like I'm in the wrong story, or like I feel like an energy shift as soon as I walk into this house.
Oh my God.
And then she's like, I added up the numbers to my house and it was 22. And 22 was the age I was supposed to move out. And then when you break it down to become more of like a single number, it was 4. And 4 symbolizes like structure and like rigidity. And that's not very good for someone who's like a free spirit and a creative because you feel so confined and restricted. So that just made sense energetically. And then later I found out my life path number was an 8, which is like all about infinity and abundance. And then I had a dream, I think maybe a couple of days later, and this is like what solidified it for me. I was on the top of a building, and I like had like some other friends like who were all on their own individual buildings. And like I see people jumping off these buildings, like leaping, like to like fall to like the unknown. Like you can't see the bottom. I just see that people are leaping off these buildings and landing into like pretty happy lives. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to jump because that's a pretty high jump. I'm like, this is a skyscraper and I'm a small person. Jumping off I'm going to go splat. Like I'm not going to make it. So I feel all of the anxiety as though it was real. Like I feel things, and I also hate heights. Like I'm afraid of heights. So I'm like looking over the ledge and I'm like seeing like it's a long way down. So I'm like thinking like, I know I want to go over because I'm not happy where I am. And like, what if there's a possibility that I could be happier if I just jump? So I like jump over, and then like I land smack, and like it's a little painful. I'm a little achy. I'm a little sore. But then I get up, and then I just see this very urban city with like all these fluorescent lights, like very much like it's like dawn or something like that. As I get up, like I'm shaking off like all the pain and I don't feel it as much anymore. And then I'm walking into like this shop that has like all these different like treats and everything that you could possibly want. Like you just feel cozy. It has a fireplace, hot chocolate. Like it's just like amazing. And like you walk in there and you feel like you know the people and you feel like the people really care about you. I woke up and I was just like, wow, like I think I need to take that leap of faith, because that journey, when you take a leap of faith, you're jumping off into the unknown. And when you first get there, it is a painful experience. It can be. And then like you get to a point where you feel like, not necessarily that you figured it out, but like you feel comfortable and confident enough saying that, oh, okay, like I can figure out what my next steps are. You don't feel so overwhelmed and everything. So those were like my signs where I was like, okay, you gotta go.
And from that dream, like it sounds like you knew already that you wanted to do it and you were going to do it, and you were just, I guess, like waiting for more validation, and then you manifested it. Like you literally got literal validation like immediately. Fuck, that's so exciting.
That feels so direct, and just like you were being bombarded with signs. Like it feels like the universe was just like punching you until you moved.
Yeah.
Especially for me, and I'm sure other people feel the same way, like you feel like there's so much you don't know. So you have to constantly look for the advice of other people in order to validate what you do.
Yeah.
But you don't really need that all the time. Sometimes you just need to listen to what your intuition is saying, like what Alex wants to do or what Chrissy wants to do. And you could feel like it makes so much sense in the world to you, and it's authentic to you, and it just makes sense to you, but it doesn't necessarily make sense to other people. You just got to do that and like follow through with that, because when you do that, you're living authentically and truthfully to yourself. I've also learned like you cannot tell everybody your plan. Like sometimes you just have to let people know as they need to know. If they don't need to know, they'll find out with everybody else. I think you should not tell more than 3 people. You better make sure those 3 people are people that you can trust. They're not going to talk you out of it. They're going to more so listen to your thought process and figure out what you need. They're not going to try to convince you otherwise. So that's what I've learned.
You should have a TED Talk.
I'm like gonna cry. Like, I think this is so important. Like, I'm actually like, this conversation is incredibly validating to me, because we need to keep fucking doing this. This is very good. People need to hear this shit. People need to hear this shit. I need to hear everything you're saying right now. It feels like you're talking specifically to me. Like, and you are, but also it feels like you're reading my mind, is what I mean. Some of the things you have said, by the way, I like wrote in my notes about you as a person. You're blowing my mind. You even said like in college, maybe like social anxiety held you back from like living your most authentic life. I didn't know you super well in college. And so reading this, I was like, like, I don't know if this is true. And it was interesting to see that you are Aries sun and an Aries rising. The stereotypes about Aries are just them being like aggressive and loud and bouncing off the walls and like ball of energy. And you are super poised. You're not necessarily bouncing off the wall energy, but like so much of what you just said is very Aries to me. It may not even feel that way, but like just from what you've said, like you're so confident in your choices and you're so fucking brave. Like that's the biggest thing for Aries. Like, God, you're so brave. Like you have gone to LA and now you're in New York and you're trying this and you're taking classes and you're spending money and you're like, I maybe don't feel like I have a ton of people that are in my tribe right now, but I know I will find them. Like that confidence is unbelievable. Like I would pay so much money to have that confidence. You have an amazing conjunction, which is when all of the placements are within the same sign. You have your rising, your sun, your Mercury, and your Mars are all Aries. And when you have a conjunction with your rising, that puts all of that in the first house, which is the house of your sense of self, self-discovery. It's the only house that has to do with your own self. And to have that many prominent placements, which I do too. My rising and my sun are in the first house in Cancer. When your sun is in the first house, especially combined with so many prominent placements, like a huge part of your life journey is going to be figuring out yourself. And through the lens of Aries is unbelievable because apparently and actually that's giving you the confidence to explore these things. And you're so lucky to have found it so early, because I think for a lot of people with their placement in the first house, like their whole life mission ends up being trying to develop the self-assurance that you seem to have. Your moon is in sextile with Jupiter. Sextile is like a prominent positive aspect. And that indicates, I wrote abundance and faith in the way that your life unfolds. So like you have faith in the fact that your life is gonna fucking work out.
She wrote this shit down before we had this conversation. Like,
Really?
fucking-
Yes.
Yes. This
Yes.
was notes she took based on your chart. So, boom.
I want to talk about your moon in Scorpio.
Hi, Scorpio.
Because those two in your top three, those two giant fire placements, and I feel like Aries is the fieriest fire. Your Scorpio not only grounds you, your moon is about your emotions. Scorpio's a water sign, so you feel deep and you can go deep and you can get dark, especially because your Scorpio is in the 8th house, which is the house of death and transformation. Like it really is about sex and death. I really feel like you might be psychic, and maybe that is how you're picking up on all these signs. Like literally, I feel like you could probably talk to dead people maybe if you wanted to. Like
Funny that you say that. Not that I've talked to dead people, but I knew that was where that was going.
I know these are the stories we want, Justin.
So I started like very much so getting into like intuition and like opening up your third eye. What really sparked it is like me seeing these signs and me being very in tune with that kind of like energy. I would constantly wake up at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, always. And I did some more research into that, and I was hearing that like when you do that, it's like the perfect time to meditate. It's usually like when the universe wants you to get up because it has something to tell you. That was like a constant pattern of mine. So then I looked into this intuition coach. I had sent this out maybe like a couple of weeks ago, and then she didn't message me back. So I was like, oh, I guess she's not gonna hit me back. And then out of nowhere, like she messaged me back and was like, hey, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I just noticed that my messages weren't getting through. Yeah, I'd be totally down to work with you. So now I'm gonna be working with her on Monday.
You're such an action person. Like, fuck. Like, I'm thinking about, as a Scorpio woman, I've had all of these thoughts. Like, obviously, like, we have intuition. Like, we're very, like, attuned to energies. And I've always been saying, like, I should pursue this. I should do something about this.
Yeah.
I should do something, and I don't do anything. Like, fuck.
I do that too. Like I have been saying I wanted to start a vlog channel for the longest time, and where's this vlog channel? Nowhere to be found. So
Do it, we'll watch. Having a conjunction with your Mercury and your sun means that like self-expression, especially in the first house, is not gonna be super difficult for you. And maybe it was at one point, but like your role in this life is to like overcome that. The line between communication and yourself is like very linear. And also having your Mars, it's about conflict, but it's also about like competition and like setting goals and action. With all of that being so aligned, not that your life will be easy, but like, I mean, that is so amazing. Like that's such an amazing placement to have. It's coming across so strong in this conversation. You seem extremely aligned.
Well, thank you. I have worked so hard to be there.
This has been so great. Justin, thank you so much for joining us. This has been amazing.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I'm like love talking about this stuff. So I was happy that you guys were like wanting to have me on. I was like, great.
Yes. This is what an Aries looks like, everyone.
Yeah. Can you relate? Let us know in the comments.
Let us know.
If you relate, let's go.
Is there anything you want to like plug or promote while you're here?
Your vlog.
Oh yeah, my vlog. If I do create a vlog, it'll be the same as my Instagram handle, which is at just_in_time 2014. Sorry that it's so long. I can't change it.
We love it.
Follow him on
All your
Instagram.
links.
Follow his blog if he makes one. Thank you, Justin. This was
Yeah,
this was
thank
awesome.
you so much, guys.
I'm drinking with the storm.